Flash was released at the box office, and it's safe to say that it is not the hit that Warner Brothers and DC Studios was expecting it to be. How bad is it though, and how exactly did we get here? The Flash film has had a series of unfortunate events take place. Today, let's discuss the numbers and dive into my real perspective on what went wrong. This will be divided up into 3 sections. First, the box office results so far. Second, the problems that plagued production and marketing of the film. And third, what I would have done differently. I'm sure it's easy to say in hindsight all the negatives. However, the writing has been on the wall for this film for a few years now. First up, let's dive into those box office results so far. Going into the opening weekend, the numbers were already projected at an incredibly low $70 million. Those numbers were later adjusted to just $60 million, and yet the results were even worse. The Flash opened to just $55 million at the domestic box office and made $75 million internationally. To paint how bad that is of an opening, it's worse than Black Adam, which opened to just $67 million. But how did we get here, and why did this movie do so bad? Hey guys, really quick, if you're new here and you enjoy this kind of content, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to get more videos just like this one. The film has scored pretty decent compared to other DC projects. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at a 66% for the critic score and an audience score of 85%. And while the film is plagued with a few visual effects problems, the film itself isn't necessarily the issue here. The Flash has been plagued with issues since it was first announced back in 2014, and it's gone through several directors and writers. Hell, even Ezra threw in his gloves to help write and make this film happen. The end result is a Frankenstein type of film that had several reshoots, recuts, and edits with a variety of tones that are clearly visible in the end result. Throw into the bag a handful of delays and some major legal issues with Ezra Miller, and it should be no surprise with what you end up with. Speaking about the legal issues surrounding Ezra Miller, it prevented the film from being marketed and promoted properly, with the cast and crew restricted to the amount of interviews that were given, and Ezra Miller unable to make any appearances at all. No interviews, no appearances. In fact, the first time he appeared for any event was the red carpet, where even there he was unable to be interviewed. The writer's strike also prevented the late-night talk show run. So no cast and crew were able to attend any of these shows due to the writer's strike. Even James Gunn, the new co-CEO of DC Studios, hasn't really claimed the film as part of the bigger picture for future DC projects. This is a problem. While he did say it's one of the greatest superhero films ever made, he refused to acknowledge if this film was going to be part of DC's future. And with that, the movie serves as a means to an end with the DCEU. Why watch a film that leads to a dead end? Why watch a film that's part of a series you know is being rebooted, thus killing the film before it was even released? Guys, mix all that in with comic book film fatigue, the DCEU failing as a series, and the overly crowded release month of June, and this is the number you end up with. Recasting Ezra Miller and redoing all the visual effects with his double were not an option, and neither was shelving this film, as the studio has spent close to $300 million to make it happen, maybe even more if you factor in marketing. There was one option that could have possibly helped the box office numbers, and it was an incredibly easy choice to make. Simply delay the film for a November release. Hear me out for a second. Delaying the film could have helped it over Thanksgiving Day weekend. 89 Batman does have Christmas and winter vibes anyways, and the Arctic sequence in the film could have been promoted a bit heavier playing into the season. With significantly less competition, the film could have improved the box office results by what I think is around $30 to $40 million. But hey guys, that was just my real perspective. I'd love to hear what you think. Did you see The Flash? Are you planning on seeing it? Why do you think it's doing so bad at the box office? Drop a comment below, sound off, and let's talk about it. Remember, if you enjoy this kind of content and want to see more just like it, hit that like button and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.